Hello everyone, my name is Greg Spofford and I'm very fortunate to be serving as an AmeriCorps Vista with Oasis Central Minnesota this year, up until August 1st. It's a return to an organization that has been close to my heart for many years. On our next program, we'll tell you a little bit more about the organization as a whole. But today we're going to especially talk about one of the programs that we're so blessed, I would say gifted, to be a co-sponsor with Bethel Lutheran Church. And the name of that program is Fair for All. I have two wonderful people with me, and let's get to those people. And you might recognize one and not the other, but I just think I want to get a little bit of an introduction from each of them. Jerry Lochner, I've had the privilege of serving the community with you for many years. And yet, what do you want to say about yourself?
Well,
Yeah, how's that for a good way to put it?
Oh, it's okay. Thank you for having me here. Blessed, that's how I feel. I worked for the city of Little Falls for 40-some years, retired about 5 years ago, and now do volunteering in different, where we can help in different ways. Fair for All being one of those, help at church and other activities, of course, help with delivering meals, help at the zoo. I was at the zoo this morning. Our otters are in, and the otter exhibit's going to be going out to
the otters are coming, or they're in.
Otters are in. They've been here for a while, but you want to get them acclimated.
Sure.
Anyway, working at the zoo has always been a pleasure, but today with Fair for All, typically once a month, Fair for All comes to Bethel, and Linda and I both help there, and make it happen.
Linda's your lovely bride.
Linda's my lovely bride.
How many years have you been married now?
45 years on May 18th.
May 18th. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
As the big 45 comes up. Yeah. So, and I'm pretty blessed to have Vicki hanging around with me. We celebrate 40 this year.
Awesome.
No less important to our community. And recently serving with Bethel Lutheran is our Megan McLaughlin. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself,
Sure.
Megan?
My name is Megan McLaughlin, and I am currently living in Minneapolis and serving part-time at Bethel Lutheran, right up the road here on Broadway, and have been so enjoying my time living and ministering with this community of people that has such a great commitment to being a part of this community.
Bethel's been doing that for a long time, and we are very fortunate to have you because I know your passion includes food security, if you will, the homelessness. One of our first discussions here had to do with the homeless of our state of Minnesota.
Yes.
And with your present residency, Minneapolis, we hear a lot when there's prime media coverage, but the homeless of our area, which we'll be covering in our next program a little bit more, of our area is a hidden secret.
Yes.
Just thank you so much for choosing Little Falls and Morrison County to serve. Now we're going to get right into the program description a little bit. Jerry, you've been involved with Fair for All since its beginning back in Little Falls. Can you kind of talk a little bit about the history of Fair for All and bring us up to the present, if you will?
Glad to. Bethel has been with Fair for All for about 5 years, but Fair for All stretches the food dollars for all of us. Fair for All came through Oasis, though. I mean, it was a joint thing right away, which was kind of neat. Prior to that, we had Ruby's Pantry at Bethel, which is very similar, and Ruby's is still in Little Falls. It's a nice program.
Doing a great job, yep.
Ruby's got a little bit too big for us. They had more produce than our fellowship hall could handle, and they started looking for other sites, which was okay. I mean, that was the right thing to do.
Yep.
Now they're up at the Crestliner building up on 13th Avenue, the old Crestliner building, up on 13th Avenue Northeast, and I think doing well. But when they left, Fair for All, we heard about Fair for All, and again through Oasis Share Meal, took on that program. We provide the site. There's no dollars involved with it from Bethel's perspective. We donate the heat, we donate the cleanup, we donate whatever, tables and chairs, whatever it takes to make it happen. But Fair for All is about 5 years old, and I think it's a very good program. I think very good quality stuff too.
It is. It's name brand, good quality.
They bring their boxes in. They take their boxes with when they're done. They recycle.
Right.
It's a good program.
Right. We'll hear a little bit more about the specifics of what's in those boxes. But now, who is it for, Megan? Who is Fair for All for?
So Fair for All is open to anyone
Right.
who wants to stretch their food dollar.
Yep.
And that could be somebody who is on food support through a county program, and though the food support that is offered does not make it to the end of a month. It just doesn't. And this is a way to take that food support dollar that you have and make it go further, because you can use your EBT card as well as credit card or cash to purchase the food that you get through Fair for All. It could be somebody who just has run into medical expenses or anything else that's unexpected in life and needs to be able to stretch their dollar more, because what you're doing is purchasing food at 40%
Right.
what you would spend in the grocery store.
Up to 40%. And it varies, but
It does vary a little
Yep.
bit, but you're saving a lot of money compared to what you would pay for the same food in the grocery store. There's no geographic restrictions, there's no economic restrictions, there's no limit to how many you can purchase when you come or how often you come. We are available there once a month, and anybody is welcome at any time.
You know, and I shop every single month, and Vicki told me I brought a little too many fruits and vegetables. She had just picked some up one day, but I brought home another box, and we ate more fruits and vegetables, which we should be doing a little faster. And then there's that box of meat, you know. So if I remember correctly, fruits and vegetables, one of them's $10, the other one's $11. If you get both of them, you've got
save $1.
Another $1. You're already saving 40% or thereabouts.
Right.
And then we've got, and coming up, so we don't forget, coming up for Easter, there's kind of a special deal. Between the two of you, what is that special deal? Should we direct that to you, Jerry?
Yeah, typically it's a ham with everything that you need for the dinner is put in a box. They'll typically do this for Easter, they do it for Thanksgiving, and so they have another box that they'll put together ham, potatoes, and the fixings, and usually the pie is included. Goes with it in that one box, that package for.
I know for Christmas they had so much in there they couldn't even put the pie. You had to have that separate.
Right.
A bigger box and in that. So and that's usually around $30. But I'd say, golly, if I were to go out and buy that, I'll bet you it would be about 60, you know, or 75, you know, with the big turkey around Christmas or whatever.
And the other thing that happens, I think, with Fair for All, which is very important, it comes frozen and it stays frozen. You don't have fruit and vegetables that are not good. It comes frozen and very healthy that way.
The food has lasted a long time, and it's your regular refrigeration for things like that. We talked a little bit about who it's for. We talked about where it happens. Did we mention when it happens? Jerry, can you continue with that part?
Sure. Typically the second Monday of the month. Now, it'll vary a little bit because sometimes you have 4th of July on that Monday, and they'll move it back to the third Monday.
Sure.
But we take an ad out in the local paper and the Record, and you'll hear it on the radio. But typically the second Monday. The other thing that happens at Bethel, too, which I think is really neat, we have anywhere from 15 to 20 volunteers that come and help make that happen, help distribute the food. We take it out to the cars for the people, especially for the elderly. We have carts there so you don't have to lift. We take it, follow you out to your vehicle, put it in your vehicle so that you don't have to lift. And typically those 16 volunteers, 20 volunteers, it's just a fun group to be with.
It is fun.
So if you want to help volunteer, you can do that too.
You might even get a cookie out of the deal. At the end, you know, they send you out with a cookie.
If you're talking about Bethel, you're probably going to have treats.
Right.
There's going to be some food
and
there.
it's so economical, but it's also time-wise. It doesn't take a lot of time. And so it happens between, what are those times again over there at Bethel?
We try to set up at 2:30. We start with the food distribution at 3:30 and goes till 5:30.
Got it.
So in those 2 hours, you can come anytime. And the other thing that has happened, people have learned that you don't have to be there for the big rush.
Right.
It's a steady flow of people between those 2 hours. You typically can walk in, you look at what you want. If there's a special for the day, pick it out if you want. And take what you need and take what you can use.
It's a nice shopping experience.
It's very good and very simple. Come in through the main doors. There'll be some tables set up with some volunteers there that people will explain things to you. Typically there's a loaf of bread or two you can get for free.
Get that for free.
And then you go and do your purchases and go back, and we'll help load the food up and take it out to the vehicle.
3:30 to 5:30. You know, this what time do you set up? About 2:30?
2:30.
And what time is it when people go to the dentist all the time?
What time is when they go to the dentist?
When everybody goes to the dentist, yeah.
What, I don't know what time
Tooth hurdy.
2:30.
Tooth hurdy.
Oh.
I'm sorry, we'll get back to the program. We just got to have a little commercial in there. All right. Spofford thinks he's funny. This is when my family says, Greg, you're not funny. Dad, you're not funny. All right. So we've got this wonderful partnership. Bethel's been serving as the site. Oasis is so privileged, and we're not getting any money for it. We want all that savings to go to people, whether they are needing to stretch that food dollar or want to stretch that food dollar.
Correct.
And besides EBT card, I've used my Visa every time. One time I thought I had what I needed, and I was so happy I had the light Visa. But it's a lot of help for people.
Correct.
Yes.
I think there's maybe just one more kind of question. Why should people, and this would be for both, and we also have a poster, maybe Jerry's holding up a poster, and so you've got your fruits and vegetables, you've got your meat package, and and it's all in a box, it's easy, they cart it out there for you. But I would say in a spiritual part of things, and I said we might talk about that. Oasis is very comfortable with serving everybody, no matter what their denomination or no denomination at all. Bethel has its doors open to all the people of the community and visitors and stuff like that. How does Fair for All fit with a kind of a spiritual approach to life? Because we're mind, body, and spirit. And I'm going to come to the spiritual person first and give Jerry another half a second, because that was a surprise question.
That's okay.
What do you think, Megan?
So I would say first and foremost, God has always shown, as we read our sacred scriptures, that He cares not just about our spirits and our relational life, which He does, but He also cares about our bodies.
Oh boy.
God fed the Israelites with manna in the desert.
Yep.
Jesus fed 5,000 people and made sure that they all had what they needed for their bodies. And I can't count the number of meals that Jesus had with people. It was really central to who Jesus was. And that's part of what we as people of faith are called to do, what we as Christians are called to do, is to look at everybody we see as our siblings, no matter where you come from, no matter what your religious tradition is, or none, ethnic background, wherever you come from. You are our siblings, and when people are hungry, we need to eat.
Jesus knew that, and we carry that tradition today.
Right. Yeah.
And that spirit, that physical nourishment, seems to all of a sudden kind of work with the emotional nourishment that everybody needs.
It does.
And,
it does.
And the spirit. Yeah, go ahead.
And our reading for this Sunday coming up, Jesus says, the poor you will always have with you.
Yep.
And what I have read is that that's not like the poor out there are always going to be with you, but keep the poor close.
Right.
We all are in poverty in one way or another.
We are.
And what we have is meant to be shared.
Yeah.
So when we talk about homelessness, when we talk about hunger, it is so important to recognize that we're called to share what we have with no judgment and recognize that what God has given is bounty.
And we all have to eat.
For all of us.
Yeah. I will mention that made me think about this. If somebody is hungry in our community, we occasionally will get kind of a special scholarship. So don't be afraid to come. We certainly have our food shelf. Darned if Bethel didn't also put right on their site the food shelf, offered that land gratis.
Right.
But at the same, so when we're hungry, so don't be afraid to come on a Monday night. You can't make it, or you want to come that night and you got to supplement the next day at the food shelf. Don't be afraid to ask for that package, because that's what we're there for. Jerry, that was a pretty comprehensive answer. Do you have anything additionally that you want to add to that?
I think we are blessed in many different ways. This is one little program that'll help stretch the dollars. Another note for the people out there is that handicap accessibility is not a problem at Bethel. We have the doors, and we'll help take the food out. So if you need to come in a wheelchair, that's just fine. We are handicap accessible. We built the church that way, and 2003 we
Yep.
moved into it. So
I will even offer one more thing. We'll figure it out. If you need a ride or something, we'll figure it out. Right now, with our share meal, we've got a contract with one of the cab companies in town that if people are hungry, they want to get out to the share meal. We'll talk about share meal another time. Are there any final thoughts for this program that you have in mind? I think we covered it pretty good.
It's April, so this
Yeah,
month,
right.
on April 15th, we will have we'll have Fair for All.
Yep.
Sorry.
No, it's not a
Share
problem.
meal with
Not a
my
problem.
head all of a sudden.
Right.
Fair for All is on April 15th,
Right.
3:30 to 5:30. You're welcome to come, and I'm happy
That's
to
wonderful.
help.
And that is tax day too. So I can't say that we can do taxes, but at the same time, get your taxes done, get them mailed in, and then come on over to Fair for All. We've had a lot of fun. I want to thank our guests Jerry
Yes.
and Megan. I'll just mention briefly, whether it be Fair for All or whether it be Share a Meal or whether it be what we're doing in the area of homelessness and housing, we had to kind of, in order to concentrate, we had to kind of curtail the paint-a-thon last year because of all the needs for housing and homelessness. But if you want to call Oasis, it's 632-9140. I want to thank the community. The community has been reaching out in various ways, whether it be food or housing or just being Jesus to each other. Our kids were raised here. They had the best teachers and people welcoming them. So thank you so much. I want to thank Mark and his beautiful, way of bringing all of these programs to the community. So I guess at this point, thank you very much, all of you.
You're welcome.
And God bless all of you as well.
Thank you.
3 to 5. I guess this is gonna work.